Hey everyone, in today's video, we'll be discussing about MCQs and the explanation. So without any delay, let's go inside the video and its explanations. So in the first question, consider the following statements about the MGNREGA scheme. So the first statement is, for receiving the benefits under MGNREGA scheme, one must be a citizen of India. Second statement, under the scheme, the local government have to legally provide at least 100 days of wage employment in rural India. Select the correct answer using the option given below. Option A, 1 only, 2 only, 1 and 2 only, and none of the above. Now, any scheme in India, it's always meant for the citizens of India. So just by knowing that, we can choose that option A, 1 only, is going to be definitely correct, or the first statement is going to be definitely correct. From that, we come to the second statement. Under this scheme, the local government have to legally provide at least 100 days of wage employment in rural India. So MGNREGA full form stands for Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So there is a specific emphasis on rural. So take that rural and you will get 100 days of wage employment. The MGNREGA Act also talks about it. So taking these 2 points into consideration, we can easily make an analysis and understand that both the statements are rightfully correct. So we'll go inside the explanation. The answer is C. Explanation statement 1 is correct. The following are the eligibility criteria for receiving the benefits under Manrega scheme. Must be a citizen of India. That was the first statement. Job seeker has completed 18 years of age at the time of application. The applicant must be a part of a local household. That is, application must be made with the local Gram Panchayat, and the applicant must volunteer for skilled labor. And the second statement is, under this scheme, the local government will have to legally provide at least 100 days of guaranteed wage employment to rural unskilled labor. So that is the explanation for first question. Second question, now why the scheme? The scheme came about because it was in the news due to the coronavirus lockdown. Second question, consider following statements about the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test, NEET. So it's a very common question. It's a very common exam which many of us have heard about at least. First statement, it doesn't apply for aided and unaided medical colleges administered by minorities. Second statement, this uniform entrance exam ensures realization of the directive principles enshrined in the Constitution. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? Now, the question is, it asks for correct, no doubt, no, not correct or incorrect. And it talks about it doesn't apply for aided or unaided medical colleges run by minorities. That's the point they've said. So these are the major key points you must understand. NEET exam is for medical entrance, understood, taken. Aided, unaided college. Aided colleges get aid from the government. And definitely, even though the minority rights are given, when there is an aid given by the government, there is a large possibility it will be run according to the government standards. So taking that into account, we can say that NEET will definitely apply for aided colleges. And it doesn't matter if it's run by minorities or not. So we can say that in even unaided medical colleges, NEET is a entrance cum eligibility test. So definitely the marks given in NEET will be a marker for entry into the colleges. So we can say that the first statement is wrong, whereas the second statement, this uniform entrance exam ensures realization of the directive principles. Yes, the directive principles talk about equality, liberty. There are the socialist principles, there are the liberal principles, there are the Gandhian principles. Each of them have enshrined themselves upon the principle of equality. So taking that into account, we can definitely say both of these statements are correct too. The first statement is wrong, but the second statement is correct. So if you look at the answer, it says that answer B, explanation. Statement 1 is not correct because NEET would apply for both aided and unaided medical colleges administered by minorities, as held by the Supreme Court of India. And the statement 2 is also correct because the uniform entrance exams would ensure improvement in future public health by encouraging merit in furtherance of the directive principles enshrined in the Constitution under Article 47, which directs the state to raise the level of nutrition, the standard of living, and to improve public health. So recently there was a judgment given by the Supreme Court where the Supreme Court said NEET applies to minority-run medical colleges. We are going to the third question, which is, what is 6 plus 2 plus 1 sometimes seen in news? Option A, group opposing possible expansion of permanent seats in the United Nations Security Council, regional efforts to support peace in Iran, regional efforts to support peace in Afghanistan, regional efforts for nuclear disarmament of North Korea. So 6 plus 2 plus 1. This is a question, you know it, you can go for it. Now, just by looking at this, regional efforts to support peace in Iran, regional efforts to support peace in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, and efforts for nuclear disarmament of North Korea. And the first statement is group opposing. Now, if we know about it, we'll understand that these kinds of statements are made usually with the UN, with the UN Security Council. And the UN already has the 5+1 committee kind of thing for the Iran Iran peace process. So the 5+1 deal was the one signed between the Iran US. So taking that into consideration, we can say that Iran can be eliminated, and we haven't heard about anything in this name for disarmament of North Korea. So by taking such instances into account, you will be able to eliminate at least 2 options in any question. So in this case, if we eliminate it, we'll be left with option A and option C. The correct answer is option C. Now, it may be difficult in the initial stages to make such eliminations. Do not worry. As you keep studying, your knowledge will improve, and you will be able to make educated guesses to find the answer. So here the explanation is, the United Nations Secretariat held a meeting of what it calls the 6 plus 2 plus 1 group on regional efforts to support peace in Afghanistan. So what is this group? What is 6 plus 2 plus 1? The 6 is the 6 neighboring countries: China, Iran, Pakistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. Global players, the United States and Russia, and Afghanistan itself. So the 6 is a few Central Asian countries and China. The 2 is the global players, Russia, US, and the 1 is Afghanistan itself. Okay. Fourth question. In context of Airport Authorities of India, or AAI, consider the following statements. It's a statutory body. It provides communication, navigation, surveillance, and air traffic management services only over Indian airspace. Now, only, that's the key word we must look into. So, only, when you see the word only, there's a large possibility. It is not definite, but there is a large possibility that that statement can be wrong. Now, Airports Authority of India, and the second statement says it provides communication, navigation, surveillance, and air traffic management only over Indian space. Not necessary, because there might be a need for communication between the nations, and the air traffic has to be maintained between even outside of India. So to say it is restricted to the Indian airspace seems a bit difficult to believe in the present circumstances. So we can say that option 2 is not really clear. Option A, it is a statutory body. Yes, quite possible. Exactly, the answer is A. The Airports Authority of India, or AAI, is a statutory body which was created through the Airports Authority of India Act of 1994, working under the Ministry of Civil Aviation under the Government of India. So the Government of India is responsible for creating and upgrading, maintaining this civil aviation infrastructure in India. The statement second is not correct, because it provides communication, navigation, surveillance, air traffic management, CNS, ATM services over Indian airspace and adjoining oceanic areas. That is the point we have to note down and understand. And it talks about fifth question. The Special 301 report is released by option A, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Financial Action Task Force, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, and the United States Trade Representative. Special 301 report, very important question, because this report talks about India's patent rights and how the US has evaluated that. So US has always been marked India under the Special 301 report, and this is an important current affair question we must know, because this statement has this has been in the news frequently, and this report has an effect on India's trade relations with other countries and also with the US. So the explanation: India continues to be on the priority watch list of the United States Trade Representative for lack of adequate intellectual property rights protection and enforcement, the USTR said in its annual Special 301 report. So usually when this report has come up, the US has stated that India does not give protection to the patents, nor to other royalties or licensing, which makes foreign investment a bit dicey for Indian investors. So that is a problem, and this report is the one which says that India is placed on the priority watch list. Next question, question number 6. Consider the following statements about the Arms Act of 1959. First statement: it allows a person to have only one licensed firearm. It bans use, testing, or proofing of firearms without license. Select the correct answer. Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. Option D, none of the above. Again, the first statement, look at the keyword. That is a keyword known as only. When we see that only, always have a doubt that whether this is true or not. So there is a possibility it can be wrong majority of the time. Of course, there are instances where there are exceptions are to be made, but understand it allows a person to have only one licensed firearm. Seems a bit dicey. So we'll keep that as a doubt. Second statement bans use, testing or proofing of firearms without license. Quite possible, because such usage, such a development of firearms without licensing can lead to a proliferation of arms in the country. So the Arms Act will definitely have such provisions. It is expected also. So if you have to take an educated guess, you can definitely choose answer B. And the explanation is statement 1 is not correct. It allows a person to have 3 licensed firearms. Yes, quite possible. The second statement is the act bans manufacture, sale, use, transfer, conversion, testing or proofing of firearms without license. And that's the sixth question. The seventh question, consider the following statements about the Electoral College for the election of the President of India. It consists of both the elected and nominated members of both houses of parliament. Elected members of the Legislative Assembly of all the states and union territories are part of the President's Electoral College. Which of the above mentioned statements are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, none of the above. This is a question from the politics part of our syllabus. So it talks about the election of the President of India and who are the members of the Electoral College who are involved in this election. So if you look at the first statement, it consists of both the elected and nominated members of the Houses of Parliament. Now, if you start trying to recollect the polity knowledge, you will notice that the Electoral College of the President of India's election stands with representatives of the elected members of the assemblies, both the houses of the Parliament and the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. So it talks about the elected members, and when you take that, the elected members of the Parliament and the state assemblies, the nominated members are not included. So clearly you can remove the first statement, and so you can say that the first statement is wrong. The second statement, the first statement is wrong. Second statement says it is also not correct, because the elected members of the legislative assemblies of all the states but not all the union territories, because it talks only about Delhi and Puducherry, because that's what is mentioned in Article 54. Only they are eligible for to be a part of the Electoral College. In next question, which is the 8th question. In the context of 6th schedule, consider the following statements. It deals with the administration control of scheduled areas as well as of scheduled tribes residing in any state. The second statement is the governors of these states are empowered to reorganize boundaries of the tribal areas. And the third statement is it seeks to safeguard the rights of tribal population through the formation of autonomous district councils and regional councils. Choose the correct code. 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, and all of the above. So 6th schedule. So 6th schedule talks about the tribal areas. In tribal areas, mainly it is mentioned in the constitution to be the AMTM states, which is Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. So if you take that, you understand that the first statement, it deals with the administration and control of scheduled areas as well as of scheduled tribes residing in any state. No, it talks about only, the 6th schedule talks about only these 4 states. So the first statement is removed. You can easily, from that, you can eliminate option A, which is 1 and 2, because there is 1 in that. Option C, 1 and 3, obviously that in that also 1 is removed. And option D, all of the above, which is 1, 2, 3, you remove that automatically without reading the second and third statement. You will get the answer. So we'll go for the explanation. Explanation says the statement 1 is not correct because the 6th schedule consists of provisions for the administration of tribal areas in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram, according to the Article 244 of the Indian Constitution. The 5th schedule of the Constitution deals with the administration control of scheduled areas as well as of scheduled tribes residing in any state other than the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. Second statement, the governors of these states are empowered to reorganize boundaries of the tribal areas. And the statement 3 is also correct. It seeks to safeguard the rights of tribal population through formation of autonomous district councils. And the 6th schedule also provides for separate regional council for each area constituted as an autonomous region. The next question is, in the context of index of core industries, consider the following statements. The first statement, it forms 90% of the weight of items included in the index of industrial production. It is published monthly by the Central Statistical Organization, CSO, by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Choose the correct code, 1 only, 2 only, 1 and 2 only, D, which is none of the above. Now, index of the core industries. It forms 90% of the weight of items included in the index of industrial production. 90% is such a huge number. So just saying that only 8 industries form a big chunk of industrial production in any country would seem highly foolish. It is not possible for just 8 industries to dominate such a big country, especially a country which is diverse and varied like India. So we can easily eliminate the first statement, and we can make sure that you can eliminate it only when you see such absurd numbers, 90%, 100%. When in here it's given 90%, so that is a missing of logic in this statement, so we can eliminate that. If you look at the answer, it says option D. It is published monthly. It says that option D, which is the second statement, is also incorrect. We'll go through the explanation and we'll see why it is incorrect. Statement 1 is not correct because the index of core industries forms only 40% of the items included in the broader index of industrial production. IIP is compiled and published monthly by the Central Statistical Organization, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Why is the second statement wrong? Because the data on production of 8 core industries is published monthly by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, whereas the data on the index of industrial production is published by the Central Statistical Office, whereas the index of core industries is published by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And the current base year for the index of 8 core industries is 2011 to 2012. The next question, Chakhow, a scented glutinous black rice which has been granted with the geographical indication, is being cultivated in which of the following states over centuries? A. Manipur, B. Nagaland, C. Tripura, and D. Assam. So this was in the news recently because the geographical indication was given to the given to this rice product, and the correct answer is actually Manipur. It's a factual question, one of the most difficult questions to attend it, and just by reading the name Chakhow, we can make an educated guess that it's coming somewhere from the eastern part of India, and taking that into account, we can say it's in the eastern part of India. But since all the options talk about states which are present in the eastern or northeastern part of India, it can be a bit difficult. But it's an important current affair and it was asked, so we'll just have to learn it as it is. The Chakhow is a black rice variety of Manipur. It is a scented glutinous rice which has been in cultivation in Manipur over centuries. Next question. Consider the following statements about the ENAM. First statement, it is a pan-India electronic trade portal linking agriculture produce market committees, APMCs, across states and union territories. It provides for contactless remote bidding and mobile-based anytime payment for which traders do not need to either visit mandis or banks. ENAM, Electronic National Agriculture Market. That's the full form of ENAM. So keeping that in mind, if we look at the first statement, it says it is a pan-India electronic trade portal linking agriculture produce and agriculture produce market committees, APMCs, across states and union territories. So taking that into account, we can say that the first statement is definitely true. In the second statement, it provides for contactless remote bidding and mobile-based anytime payment for which traders do not need to visit mandis or banks. Obviously, since it's an e-commerce, there is quite a large possibility of online payment being implemented, and therefore traders do not have to visit the mandis or the banks to make a payment. So both the statements seem relevant, and the correct answer is answer C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Statement 1 is correct because it was where the explanation is, it was launched on 14th April of 2016 as a pan-India electronic trade portal linking APMCs across the states. Statement 2 is correct. It provides for contactless remote bidding and mobile-based anytime payment for which traders do not need to either visit mandis or banks for the same. And the third, there's an explanation of what is the ENAM. The National Agriculture Market is a pan-India electronic trade portal which networks the existing APMC mandis to create a unified national market for agriculture commodities. Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, SFAC, is the lead agency for implementing ENAM under the aegis of Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. The vision is to promote uniformity in agriculture marketing by streamlining of procedures across integrated markets, removing information asymmetry between the buyers and sellers, and promoting real-time price discovery based on actual demand and supply. We are going for the next question. Consider the following statements about the Arogya Setu app. It has been launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It helps people in identifying the risk of getting affected by the coronavirus. It works on Bluetooth technology, algorithm, and artificial intelligence. So, Aragyu Setu app is something we are all well aware of. It's been published in the news due to the coronavirus situation. Everybody has it. So this question, we'll just look into it. It's been launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Quite possible. Let's keep it as such. Second statement, it helps people in identifying the risk of getting infected by the coronavirus. Yes, we are really sure about that second statement. So taking that second statement into account, if you look at it, the option 1 and 2, 2 and 3 and all of the above satisfies it. Option C can be eliminated because the second statement is not present. We'll look at the third statement. It works on Bluetooth technology, algorithms and facial intelligence. Yes, that is also true. You take that into account, third statement is also correct. It works on Bluetooth technology. So the second statement and the third statement should be present. Taking that into account, and we are not really sure about the first statement. So we can say all of the other options are available. But one thing you have to look at is it's not the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare that is looking into it, but it's actually the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, the MeitY. And if you take that into account, the first statement can be eliminated. You'll get the answer as 2 and 3. Statement 1 is not correct. Aragyu Setu app has been launched by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Statement 2 is correct. It will help people in identifying the risk of getting infected by the coronavirus. Statement 3 is also correct because it will calculate risk based on the user's interaction with others using cutting-edge Bluetooth technology, algorithms, and artificial intelligence.